Hello everyone, my name is Lowko, and welcome back to a professional match of StarCraft 2. Now, I almost got a little bit excited there when that SCV moved all the way over there, but I guess he was just trying to optimize his worker mining there on those top 2 mineral patches. But spawning here in the top right-hand corner of Pillars of Gold, playing with the red Terran pieces from South Korea, we have the most dominant Terran player of the last couple of years. Of course, that means we're looking inside of the main base of Maru. His opponent, all the way in the opposite corner. I mean, if we're talking about dominant Terran players, you really bring up 2 names. I would say Maru, and this man right over here playing with the blue SCVs, he goes by the name of INnoVation. I've said it many times before in previous videos, but if I were to have to assign, like, the most dominant StarCraft 2 player of, like, the last decade, right? Of, like, literally the existence of the game, I think you would probably have to bring up INnoVation. I mean, most pro gamers, they dominate for a couple of years. They do really well for maybe 2, maybe 3 years. INnoVation, though, he has been winning premier tournaments since, like, I think, like, 2012? Maybe 2013. Anyway, he basically always has been a top-level contender. And I guess you can kind of say the same for Maru as well. I mean, he has been part of the GSL Code S ever since, I believe, the very first one back in 2010. At the time, though, I think he was like 12 years old, so it took a little bit before he actually got to the level that he is playing at right now. Alrighty, so let's see how these 2 titans of the Terran race will go up against each other, because there's no denying that we should be expecting some fireworks here. So, this game was played as part of the War Chest Team League, which is a tournament that was streamed over here on YouTube over the course of the last couple of weeks. I personally, sadly, didn't really get to catch a whole lot of the games because they were broadcasting for, like, I don't know, like 12-hour days. Like very, very, very long days. Because of that, I mean, I tried to watch a bunch of it, but I couldn't really, I couldn't really watch nearly as much as I would have liked to. On the plus side, though, the replay pack of this event was released. I actually did retweet it as well, so for those of you interested, you can check out my Twitter. It was tweeted by Wardy. I retweeted one of his tweets. Regardless, yeah, now that the replay pack is out, I will certainly be covering the best games of the tournament on this channel as well, starting with this one. So I'm excited to see what ends up going down right here on Pillars of Gold. One of those nice little macro maps. Should be able to get a pretty epic game going here as we start things off. Now, nice SCV snipe right there by Maru. You saw that the Reaper right there from INnoVation decided to move around a little bit in a different pattern. Does manage to get the KD8 grenade. Ooh, there we go. Eventually, INnoVation will be okay, but obviously his command center got delayed ever so slightly. It's actually really important for Terran players to finish up this command center at a reasonable time. As you can see, I mean, it obviously doesn't just help out right now with the amount of income that you're gonna get. I mean, having those mules out fast really, really does help, but you also need it for supply. So right now, for example, INnoVation really is banking on this command center finishing, because otherwise he would be supply blocked. So you can see right now, he's gonna be at like 31. Maybe just barely not, but he was almost supply blocked right there. So if that command center gets delayed any more than that, it actually does become a pretty significant problem, because then not only are you going to be behind economically, you're going to have to build an extra supply depot a little bit faster, and, well, things start getting out of control very, very quickly. Obviously, at this level of play, the room for error, the margin for error is very, very small. Now, would you look at that? 1 SCV, not bad at all. Delaying this command center here, not bad either. Obviously, this is a bit of a different opener right now, though, and that scout over there by Inno is super helpful. So he gets into the main base, he sees that his opponent, rather than going for a fast expo, went for a barracks into a factory, into a starport, but then also a fusion core. Little bit of a lucky scout, I would say, there by INnoVation, though. I mean, for all he knew, he could have, like, jumped up literally anywhere else, and then maybe he would have scouted this section of the map instead. Maru obviously just tries to put this one as far away from scouting locations as he can. But INnoVation does stumble upon that fusion core. He could technically cancel it right now if he really wants to, but I think he's probably still going to be committing right here to that Battlecruiser, especially now with that 3rd gas geyser already done. That pretty much always screams Battlecruisers to me. Alright, so let's see what INnoVation decides to do. Battlecruisers, they're very strong, they're very powerful. However, they also take about 7.5 years to finish, give or take. So, by the time that this... Oh my god, this is an excellent setup once again here by Inno. Grabs a couple of those units as well on the retreat. By the time that the Battlecruiser actually finishes... Yeah, so he can see the production right now as well. This army is probably either dead or already back home. That's kind of the option right now. Now, the high ground advantage is here for Maru, so that's very helpful. Obviously, if Inno just throws away these units, then the Battlecruiser can go in for the counterattack as well. But Maru won't have those units, or that big unit, available for this little push. So let's see what happens. Does manage to get a decent enough lock-on over there. Both players, they do back off. Second gas guys are here, and the natural coming up as well. Look at what Maru is doing right now, though, right? He's just trying to buy as much time as he possibly can. INnoVation doesn't really want to commit too far. Manages to kill the Cyclone there eventually. Siege tank coming up as well. And I think that this is a pretty good trade, man. I mean, as long as he can defend against the Battlecruiser that will undoubtedly be technically jumping across the map, he's going to be fine, right? So he does need to start up some defenses. He's got a couple of Vikings coming. He's got a Cyclone coming as well. Maru right now scans in the main base here to see if it's safe to jump. The big boy is out. And, well, he doesn't know exactly what is in the production tab right now of INnoVation, but he does know, or on the production tab rather, he does know that it's not safe to go across. So sadly for this guy, look at this. This is what a sad Battlecruiser looks like, okay? He's gonna have to fly across the map like a pleb. Ugh. What is this, man? A Viking? A Banshee? What's going on? Nope. It's gonna have to go across the map the manual way, the hard way. And that does mean, obviously, the tactical jump will be used defensively here if he needs it. Now, I do like this. Maru has decided to commit himself right now to some additional mech units. So he's got a second Battlecruiser coming up. He's going for the weapon refit here as well, which is basically the Battlecruiser improvement upgrade, which is really neat. It allows you to Yamato cannon down a bunch of those units, which is very, very powerful. Now look at Jimmy over here. Oh my god. That's so sick, man. Like, this little move doesn't seem very significant, but INnoVation knew the time that it would take for this Battlecruiser to go across the map, and then scouted it perfectly. And right now, that little Marine over there basically deflected the Battlecruiser. It seems like such a small move, but that's so crazy. You have to know the timing of the map, and how long it takes for a unit to actually get across. So the Vikings, as well as the Raven right now, they're looking to find that Battlecruiser. If you obviously manage to interference matrix it, that could be a whole lot of trouble. But, well, I mean, the Battlecruiser, it's still going to try and get in. I'm liking this position for INnoVation more and more right now, though. Yeah, there we go. Immediately jumps to safety here. Doesn't really want to take any risks. So, additional factories coming up here as well for Maru. At least, not plural yet, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be adding on another factory here in just a little bit. Second BC in the bottom left-hand corner, but so far INnoVation really hasn't taken any damage. So he's following it up right now with Mech as well, which I really, really like, but he does already have that third command center. So really, if you look at this objectively right now, this really is INnoVation's game to lose at this point, right? Obviously, Terran versus Terran, it has a ton of combat mechanics, especially when you have your defensive siege tanks. You can you can sit there for quite some time, but INnoVation certainly is ahead. Now, finally, Maru manages to get in a little bit of counter damage, and this is important, okay? Economically speaking, he's not in a great spot, but he's not in a terrible spot either. He already has been overproducing, Maru that is. Did I say INnoVation? I may have actually... yeah, set the two players wrong right there. But anyways, Maru, I mean, look at the work account right now. He actually managed to even it up there, which is super nice for him. Killing 12 of those bad boys on the other side, and now, well, the Battlecruiser is already patched up and ready to go once more. Third command center finished for Maru as well in the meantime, so he's going to be able to float that one over. And while he hasn't secured the gases over here yet, which is really critical if you want to play Terran Mech, this is looking a little bit better for him right now as well. And I brought up the defender's advantage earlier. If you think about this right now, right, how is INnoVation going to be able to push into this? Terran versus Terran is one of those matchups in SC2 where you can deal some damage if you go in for a counterattack. Like, for example, with a drop in the main base or something along those lines. But, I mean, if these Cyclones get in range of the siege tanks, they're going to be in a world of trouble. I mean, even just the Battlecruisers alone. Look at that, though. Oh my god, their DPS is insane. Still, I think that is, yeah, a handful of those Cyclones going down as well. They tried to just simply snipe the orbital command before Maru lifted it up and got it out of there. Obviously, desperately repairing with those SCVs on the low ground or below the command center. Yeah, it's one of those risky moves. INnoVation feeling a little brave. I mean, if you would have gotten it, I guess that would have been game over, and those siege tanks probably could have been positioned a little bit better, although he's mostly trying to defend this location right here on the map. Now notice, this is full-on battle mech right now for Inno versus like the stationary vanilla mech of Maru. So Maru is playing a very different style here. I think I actually prefer Maru's setup here, man. Yeah. The Battlecruisers now agree with me as well. They've decided, okay, you know what? If the Vikings are over there, that's fine. I'll just fly across the map and see whatever I can do. Fourth command center has been started up here by INnoVation. A couple additional Vikings are coming up, but I don't really see them doing anything. There's a Yamato cannon. Bum. My bomb was a little early. There we go. He can individually micro these units backwards. Oh, does sadly end up losing one of them. This one does have tactical jump available. But 10 workers going down at the cost of a Battlecruiser. I mean, that Battlecruiser honestly didn't need to go down, right? Like, that was a little bit sloppy. He still managed to get a pretty decent amount of damage in. And economically speaking, right now, Maru actually managed to secure an advantage. INnoVation hasn't really capitalized on the advantage that he had earlier by any... actually, does he? Oh, no, he actually does have 1-1. Okay, never mind. I thought that he didn't actually have the armories yet. I wasn't quite paying attention to the production tab there for a little bit, but he actually already finished 1-1. He does need to start up 2-2, though, which is actually really important. We'll have to keep an eye out here on the production now from here on out, because not starting those up, if Maru can catch up in that department as well, it's going to make things significantly easier for the young Korean pro gamer. All right. By the way, speaking of young pro gamers, I think INnoVation right now, I think he's born in 1993, if I recall correctly. So I believe for the Korean pro gamers that were born in 92, they have to start up their military duty this year. So I'm pretty sure INnoVation, I guess, is up next year, which is, yeah, a little rough. Especially a lot of the Protoss players actually have lost their top tier pro gamers over the course of like the last couple of months, as they were forced to start up their military duty, which kind of sucks. But if I'm not mistaken, well, Maru doesn't have to do his for like another 5 years. INnoVation, though, I think he has to start his next year, which is going to be, yeah, a big loss as well for the Terran community. Although, on a more positive note, I haven't brought this up yet. I talked about it a lot over on the live stream. I also tweeted about it a whole lot as well. So you should, you know, hint, hint, wink, wink. You should go follow me on there. But Björn is back. Björn actually finished his military duty, and he already qualified for the GSL Code S the next season, which is really exciting because Björn, I mean, Björn is the reason why a bunch of Terran units got nerfed, okay? Like, he's single-handedly the reason why the Reaper got nerfed. The man's micro was too good. So now that Björn once again qualified for the GSL Code S, I mean, he took out Hurricane, he took out Dream, he took out Cure in the qualifiers as well, 2-0. It's pretty insane. Anyways, a couple of Blue Flame Hellions managed to drive on over, I guess, to the 4th base of INnoVation. I will certainly bring you some Björn games as well, by the way, as soon as replays are available. I mean, I would love to cast some more of this, of that man's games. Like, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar. Anyways, 5th base now also being acquired here. So INnoVation, you know, he's doing his thing, right? INnoVation is known for being a machine. His macro is absolutely second to none. He apparently has decided that the way he's going to approach this game right now is with a ton of macro. This does mean that he is not really pushing at all. And he kind of like alleviated a lot of that pressure that he put on Maru earlier, right? Which is, yeah, I guess okay here for Maru, but it does put Maru in a bit of an awkward position. I mean, he's going to be able to catch up pretty easily here. He actually decides to jump into the main base with the Viking. Oh my god. Dude, Vikings deal bonus damage to mechanical. You don't usually see them used in this capacity, but they're actually surprisingly powerful. They actually deal a lot of damage to a lot of these red Terran units. Look at this. He's actually just going to get rid of them now? Oh my god. Wait, hold up. How many Cyclones does he have? Yeah, he's got 15 Cyclones. So I think he probably plans on dealing with these... Well, that's a lot of Battlecruisers as well. That's 4 Battlecruisers. I guess he plans on dealing with those BCs using the Cyclones primarily. He had a little bit too much supply caught up in those Vikings. And while it's uncommon to go for the maxed out Viking ball inside of the main base, I actually think that that trait was quite favorable for him, right? Like, that was not bad at all. Gotta be careful, though. Those Cyclones quite a bit more vulnerable. I mean... I don't know if they have more or less hit points than a Viking, but they certainly get shelled at by those siege tanks very, very nicely. INnoVation, though, he has been trying to get in some decent engagements, but that's where that value of this unit composition is so noticeable, right? So Maru just simply, yeah, slowly, methodically taking control of this map, setting up lines of missile turrets. He's got a nice, what's it called? Sensor tower over there as well. Once more, tries to move forward here. Now, this may very well be the first big clash. It looks to me like INnoVation wants to go in for the engagement. Couple of siege tanks are set up. This is a very, very scary amount of units that are going down right now on both sides. I guess I'm calling this fight an advantage here for Maru. That said, though, yeah, INnoVation, I mean, he's able to now shut down one of these bases. At the same time, Maru, while defending at home, also now sent a group of those BCs across the map and killed one of the planetary fortresses. Beautiful move right here by Maru. Should be able to go back home quite easily. I mean, yep. he actually just continues harassment for a little while longer. Wouldn't mind if he decided to blink that one low HP one all the way back home, though. I mean, a lock-on could be... oh my god, that's so cheeky. Oh, there you go. No, he ends up losing one. Still, though, good harassment there once again by Maru. And you know what? This is what I was talking about when it comes to that defender's advantage. Having your siege tanks in a good position there, it allows you to defend locations with far less units committed. And even though Inno has got a lot of income, right? He's got a lot of money. He doesn't actually have the supply anymore. For the very first time in this series, Maru actually takes a supply lead. +3/+3 though, still in favor right now of Inno. +2 is just about to finish up here for Maru, so that's good. But INnoVation is definitely still going to have another timing attack in him. Obviously, he doesn't need to be playing this aggressively, right? Like, if you could just contain the opponent on the amount of bases that he's got, that would probably be fine too. Maru, though, finally maxed out. He's got himself a very scary force. That is 12 siege tanks over the pathetic 3 right here of Inno. And even though, technically speaking, INnoVation should have the more mobile army, Maru also got himself a lot of Cyclones and Hellions out. And with the blue flames, yeah, they're going to be able to roast those SCVs very quickly, kill that planetary fortress. This does not put him in an awkward spot as well, though, because a lot of those units are now caught with their pens down. Cyclones will go down. Siege tanks apparently coming in for the run-by. But, oh, okay. I was going to say, maybe he's going to lose both. Yeah, he will lose both. That said, INnoVation now once again grabs the supply advantage. But how can you capitalize on this? You're not going to push in there, man. That's 7 siege tanks. Couple Battlecruisers up above as well, not to be underestimated. Yeah, you're not going to be able to get in there very easily. This is a sick game of Terran versus Terran, man. The thing is, these kind of games, they can be over in a flash, right? One player unsieged, that's game over. One player just not paying attention, that's game over. Cyclones can punish the opponent so very easily. Let's see how this goes. Oh my god, INnoVation, you gotta be so careful. Whenever those tanks siege up, one shell of, or one set of shells there can turn the tide of battle very rapidly. This is the first time where Maru really starts being aggressive out on the map. We do see a couple of Cyclones now apparently going in for the run-by as well, which I like. And this base actually may very well end up going down. I mean, yeah, the lock-on probably won't deal enough damage here. This is now forcing a lot of that Terran army to go back. At the same time, though, while Maru is busy repositioning those tanks, apparently the Cyclones are once more trying to loop around. INnoVation's been trying to outmaneuver his opponent, but the amount of space that Maru actually has to maneuver in is just significantly smaller. Right, I mean, INnoVation's going all the way around, and Maru is just taking the short route. So despite playing with slower units there, he's still able to defend everything just fine. That said, though, INnoVation has been happily macroing, right? This is what he does and what he does best. I love the fact that he's just been taking... Basically, like, if you were to draw, like, a line diagonally on this map, he's taken every single base on his side. In INnoVation, I mean, yeah, he's now capable of trading a lot more aggressively because of that as well. He's getting more income, and that's why he's making moves like this. Probably not particularly supply efficient or like, economy efficient, but if Maru is mining 2 bases less, eventually, INnoVation should be able to overwhelm him with more stuff. Look at the resources lost at this point. This is kind of like a Zerg versus Terran right now, man. This is the way that Zergs play against Terran. You just simply try and take more bases, and even though you're not going to take efficient trades, ooh, well, that's especially not efficient, you may just be able to out-macro them. Maru, though, I mean, I actually really do like this position for Maru still. I mean, he doesn't have that much money, but he does still have enough to max out, right? And his army is going to be ridiculously strong. It's 9 siege tanks versus 1. I mean, this is the 1 siege tank of INnoVation. It's got 3 hit points. Don't think that's the most menacing siege tank ever. There we go. Alright, at this point what Maru can do is leapfrog those tanks. Oh. Just barely out of range there. If he would have had the vision, I'm pretty sure that siege tank would have shot. Yeah, so what you can do is you can basically unsiege a couple of tanks, move them forward, and then basically leapfrog them one at a time. Oh, Maru once again sieges up in the same position again. INnoVation trying to outmaneuver this red Terran player here constantly. It's not really happening though. He is now stealing a base as well. I think that this base, technically speaking, is supposed to belong to the player in the top, or like in the top section of the map, which is really important. I don't know why he's probably pressed the wrong hotkey there. That's really, really important, but I think that this is the moment where Maru decides to move across the map. His army is big, INnoVation does have more supply caught up actually as well in, what's it called? Like, SCVs, I guess. Like, he's got like, I don't know, like 15, 20 more supply. Actually, more than that. In SCVs, 23 supply there in SCVs, which means that he's got less army. But this is the first time where Maru is also caught with his pants down, though. This is where that mobility of INnoVation's force is super, super significant. Liberator's now joining in the fray as well, and I love it. That means that Maru is not going to be able to get into his own base very easily here at all. And that means that this Cyclone Hellion ball can actually continue fighting in the other direction. At the same time, Battlecruisers apparently are going in for the counterattack. They're going after this planetary fortress. While the planetary is very menacing against ground units, not so scary against units that fly. Oh my god, this is actually a sick base race right now, man. So the siege tanks eventually managed to break through this. The tanks are coming in from every side as well. Reinforcements now also from Maru are going to be able to shoot at those blue units here too. Maru, though, he actually takes a supply lead. And INnoVation, oh my god! Despite having so much money, he has absolutely no way of dealing with those hero battlecruisers. Maru playing the slowest game of his life. Despite all of the economical advantages that INnoVation had this game, he didn't have a way to kill that turtled up position by the player in red. Damn, I actually did not expect it would end like that. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, hit that like button down below. If you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get notifications as soon as future videos go live. For now, I want to thank you for watching. Have an awesome day. Don't forget to smile, and I'll see you once again in the next one.